if I was to confront one of the characters in this book that made me angry, I would say to High Prince Sedaeus, "You poisonous, backstabbing son of a bitch." What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. You're with Chris, and thank you for joining me for part 4 of my epic reading vlog for The Way of Kings by Mr. Brandon Sanderson. I think part 4 is my favourite part of the book. This is where all the revelations come together and we get the answers that we have been after since the start of the book. Let's talk about some standouts. So the relationship between, the complex relationship between Dalinar and Navani is very, very interesting to read about because they do have a history. I think how that's explored is very, very good, and not many people talk about their relationship in reviews I've seen on BookTube and whatnot, and I just find that very, very interesting because if they were to get back together, I mean, we're talking about King Gavilar's widow here, which complicates things with the young king. So there's a lot of treading on eggshells and things like that, and what are the ramifications if they get together. I find that whole dynamic very, very interesting to read about, and the main characters, I'm really happy with how their arcs have progressed. They've grown, they've evolved as characters, which is really, really important in story, and really, really happy with how things have ended in part 4. Now, things really start to ramp up here. We get, there is a massive epic battle between the Alethi and the Parshendi, which is just unbelievable. I'll talk about that a bit more very, very shortly, but one of the standouts is Kaladin's emerging powers, which I'm not going to tell you about those. There's spoilers here for those. There'd be spoilers for those who haven't read the book, but I think the powers are absolutely incredible when you see those in action. It is just jaw-dropping. Now here we learn also that there is a bit of trouble brewing around Dalinar. Ever since there was word of a possible assassination attempt on the king with a cut saddle strap, High Prince Sedaeus had recently been appointed High Prince of Information to investigate this, and Dalinar came under suspicion as well, which was, I won't tell you how that pans out, but it creates a rift between Sedaeus and Dalinar, which is really interesting as well, and how that flips around towards the end of part 4 is really, really interesting as well. We get an idea now that Dalinar's visions, when he has these episodes during the high storms, that there might be some credence to it, there might be some fact, and he revealed certain locations and things like that that can be researched to back up that statement. So there's a glimmer of hope that people are going to believe that he isn't mad as they claim. Okay, now big things happen. Okay, Kaladin trains the Bridge 4 team in the art of the spear, because obviously Kaladin was an expert in that type of warfare, and he has just grown and evolved his team from these rat bags at the beginning of the book to this awesome fighting machine. And this massive epic battle between the Alethi and the Parshendi, it goes on for quite a few pages, but it is epic because for the first time High Prince Dalinar and High Prince Sedaeus agree to work together on the Shattered Plains to launch a combined assault against the Parshendi, which isn't normally done because out of all the High Princes, they have their own goals and methods and that sort of thing. So they, they're never going to unite because they're all selfish. And this has never happened before, where two High Princes have combined forces to go up against the Parshendi, and it's really, really frustrating to read about what happens with Dalinar. He undergoes a fairly big ordeal. I'm trying not to reveal anything here, and then he gets betrayed, which made me angry when I read about it. And he receive some help from a very unlikely ally. I think I'll leave it there, because to say anything more will spoil things, but it is just absolutely epic. It's one of the best battle scenes I've ever read in my life. It was full of action and blood and clashing of steel against wood, and it was just amazing. And my jaw was on the floor all through that particular chapter. Okay, now this battle changes Kaladin's destiny as well. So his life has changed forever, and the same with his Bridge 4 team. And we see that Dalinar makes a demand on the king, which is going to be a bombshell. Again, I can't spoil anything here, but it's an ultimatum. Dalinar has this goal, and he's going to do anything to get it, basically. I can't reveal anything there. We find out a lot more about Syl. That is Kaladin's Windspreen, but is she a Windspreen? We get to know what her role and her purpose is by being attached to Kaladin, which is really, really interesting. And yeah, can't say too much more than that, but yeah, that is the standouts. So they're the standouts from part 4. Really, really, really enjoyed it, and how things have come to a head with certain characters. There's a certain confrontation between two key characters, which I wanted one of these characters to summon his shard blade and get to work and stamp his authority. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the next book. But it was an absolutely fantastic part of The Way of Kings, and yeah, I'll speak about more of the book when I launch part 5 back to back with part 4. So I'm going to release the videos both at the same time. So yes, I'll see you next time in part 5. I'll catch you shortly. See you later.